to kind of draw attention to this issue and doing the job we're supposed to be doing here, enlightening you, our very esteemed viewer. Now you stay. After the break, we will sit down here and we'll talk about lupus. Now, lupus is a disease that occurs when your body's immune system attacks your own tissue and organs. Scientifically, there is there's still no cure for these ailments. But with constant management, one or the patient or the one who has lupus will survive and live a normal life. Lupus and the skin is our crux of discussion today. Interestingly, I have someone here on set who has that medical condition. And then she also has a doctor on set who has managed her for a period, who will further stress on this matter called lupus. And maybe if you are there and you have anything like that, then you understand what is going on. And I have Mrs. Sanusi Fazat Olubukola. Mrs. Sanusi Fazat Olubukola is a lupus survivor. Thank you for being on set today.
Thank you for having me, ma.
Then Mrs. Sanusi's doctor is here with her on set. Dr. Onose Shalom Onwalo.
Thank you so much, ma.
She is a senior registrar rheumatic unit, Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, ma.
And then I was going to say how you must have, really taken care of your doctor to follow you to NTA today to talk about your medical condition.
Not that. I just doing it to actually help us because the awareness is low and they have too many people down there they take care of too. So
all right, I'll start with you, Mrs. Sanusi. This lupus thing, can you explain what your experience has been with it?
Okay. Actually, now I'm better.
Okay.
I'm a year gone now on my treatment. I met her a year now.
Okay.
So, lupus is another word on its own. And it's a word whereby you experience everyday pain. You can't actually pinpoint where the pain will be coming from each day. So the body reacts to different things. But so good, it's manageable with drugs and adherence to doctor's regulation and adjusting some meals. What I experience my day, I still accustomed to back pain. And due to the drugs we take, presently I experience overweight, the drugs actually add weight and you could experience something like pains in the legs. It could be arthritis to some people. It presents in different ways. So before lupus now, what I experienced before lupus is I have constant fever. It could be malaria. The doctor will tell me you have malaria today. I get treated for malaria. And before you know it, some weeks again, I'm on typhoid fever. Then at times cough. Then it got to a time it's systemic. So it moves from one organ to another. I started having lesion in my lungs, shortness of breath. And it could be like just general body weakness. I kept running ECGs, like go and do ECG, go and do ECG. I was like, what could this be? So a time came, it's somehow like you ask yourself, is it only me? So lupus is depressive. It leaves us with like trying to keep quiet, like, you know, being in the,
Like someone looks at you, you're like, you're falling sick all the time.
yeah, and then disturbing the family peace, expenses. You need to run tests. It is okay when you do this. It's okay when you do that. It's okay. So you'd be like, what is actually wrong with me? So a time came, and I don't know, probably in the journey of lupus, there is wrong diagnosis. Doctors don't get it right as well because they are not preview of what it is. Most doctors are not.
Okay.
So you keep taking many things that you are not even meant to take. So I don't know if it is now in the system of lupus. I think the doctor will explain better that we have this malar rash that comes, and at times we have the butterfly rash. From my own experience on my own malar rash, it does an excretion of certain things like a calcium from my skin. So the doctor made me believe then, some explained to me that it could be some depositions that have happened over the long diagnosis journey. So then there was a time I don't sleep. I don't sleep for months, like 6 months. I don't sleep at all.
Wow.
So you can understand the mental health outside. Because I had a malar rash on my back. I had it on my upper extremist both. So there is nowhere to lay down.
Okay.
There is no place to lay down. If I sleep on the right, I can't. On the left, on my back, I had to sleep on my stomach. And that will last for just 1 hour or two because I end up having ulcer.
Okay.
So it's a series of different things. I can remember I was admitted at the IDH, Infectious Disease Center at Yaba. I had to leave because they were like, this cough you have looks tuberculosis. We did all tests, it was negative. And then I had it in my lungs. So I was like, then what should I be doing here? They just have to place me there to wash me so that this cough is presenting like tuberculosis. So I spent like 3 or 4 days. I had to tell them, please let me sign and go. The moment I signed, I was on my way home. I picked up another thing.
Wow.
Just on the way, I didn't get home. I had to go to Bagada General Hospital. I was admitted for about 2 weeks. I was on Recephin for the 2 weeks.
So at what point in your life did you notice this?
I noticed I had this issue when I started having my baby. That was 2008 precisely. That was when I had my first child. I had 10 years of wrong diagnosis, not knowing it was lupus.
Wow.
So 2018, I had a diagnosis that it was lupus. So I thought I was in safe hands. It was a dermatologist that saw my skin. And she was like, this is lupus. So she started giving me drugs, but it wasn't her specialty. And I was underdosed.
Now, let me talk to Dr. Onosed. Now, this lupus, how should I say, how much do people know about it here?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, lupus is a new subspecialty of internal medicine. I would say that it's not popular yet. In short, it was the interview of artists that made it a little bit popular, and ever since then, there have been lots of interviews on lupus. So I would say it's not popular, it's not common, it's not commonly known.
But that doesn't mean that people are not coming down with it.
Oh, my.
Or is it a strange, there are some illnesses that they say is African. For instance, when they say that black women are said to go to fibroid, okay, and a few other things. So this lupus, is it a disease that our environment, is it an African or black person's disease or a white person's disease, or why is it that it's not known?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Actually, an article written by Dr. Somers et al. In 1968, she wrote an article and she said that lupus was rare amongst the blacks. But over time, with a lot of publications, prompt and adequate diagnosis, Professor Adelowo and a lot of other renowned rheumatologists, they have written articles and they found out that lupus is actually common in blacks. So I would say that the reason why it is not easily reported amongst blacks is, number one, people are yet to actually identify the disease. Number two, the diagnostic procedure is expensive. We are yet to have adequate laboratories for that test. And even when we even do it in Nigeria, it is sent to Germany and Turkey for assessment till date. So an article written by Professor Adelowo et al., in a private clinic, what he said was that they did a study and 5.26% of black Nigerian women had lupus. So I would say that it's not rare, and it's not just for the blacks.
Now, is it a blood disease that does have to do with the blood?
Okay. Now, initially, it was more common amongst the Caucasians, the Hispanics, the Asians. But of recent, people are doing studies and seeing that it's common amongst the black. That's one. Lupus is not a blood disease. In short, the cause of lupus is unknown till date. We cannot, like malaria, we say it's caused by malaria parasites. We can't say that of lupus. There is no known factor that is causing lupus. But however, studies have been done, and a lot of factors have been associated with lupus. So some of the factors include environmental triggers. The ultraviolet sun, the sunlight, have been found to have an effect on the skin, on the immune cells that trigger this autoimmune disease. Also hormones, because it is very, very amazing to know that lupus is common amongst females. So studies have shown that hormonal factors, like what she said, her own lupus, or she recognized it when she having baby. So we have a lot of ladies that it happens, they notice it after their first child or when they were trying to conceive. So hormonal interplay has been found to be one of the things that triggers lupus. Also genetics. Some people have it, maybe they were born with it, inherited it from their father or from their mother, but all along, all their life, it has been quiescent or quiet. But as they begin to grow older, hormonal interplay, environmental exposure like the ultraviolet rays of the sun, exposure to silica dust, all this now begins to make it more profound.
Now, since it's something that it doesn't have any known cause, it means that, I'm assuming that treatment will also not be that you're not too sure of what you use to cure this disease as well. Am I right?
No, you have spoken well, but from, just like you said from introduction, which was really, really intelligent, you said that until the white man comes to their wit's end, they can never say that any disease is spiritual. So even if there's no known cause, as it were, but there are clinical features that we have symptoms that they have. So with these symptoms, we are not able to propagate a treatment.
Okay.
Now, if we look back at the basis of lupus, what really happens is that there's a defect in clearance. For instance, as we age, some of our cells, they die out, and the body naturally takes out those dead cells.
Exactly.
But what happens in lupus is that there is a defect in the clearance of dead cells. So those dead cells are stored up in the body, and this attracts an autoimmune reaction, meaning the body is attacking its own tissues. So that is what the studies have done, or what they have propagated over time. That is a defect in removal of dead cells over time. So this accumulation of dead cells is what triggers an immune reaction. So that is that is the basis of it.
Down here, we believe that doctors, they must explain something anyway. There must be something they will tell you that this one is. Now, Mrs. Sanusi, was there ever a time that did they ever suggest to you, or you ever thought that maybe I should go and pray, maybe this is spiritual, maybe this is witchcraft attack, maybe all of, did you ever get to that point?
Yeah. Actually, August last year, when I told you I don't sleep much, I actually wrote my will, and I told my husband, I didn't even give him, because it was like he was confused. So I always want to manage his pain, that I shouldn't push it to the wall to be in the world of pain. So I tell him just some things that you can't understand. So I actually spoke out to call for help. I did a video that went viral. I asked for help, that who knows about this disease, who has seen this before. I don't know what is happening to me, and if you know anywhere I can get further help, please, I need to have my peace. So people came with different things. I could say, oh, this type of thing, you don't take injections. If you take injections, you're going to die. Then another one will come with you, I have a pastor that can give you water to bathe. Once you bathe with the water, you will be fine. And I have some that will come, go to my Afa. He has one or two things. But being a student of learning, my teacher would always tell me, do medical before spiritual. So if anything you have done medically and it's not having a difference, then we can look at it from the spiritual angle. So I was like, I will do both. I pray, but I see the doctor. So when I saw that, when I met a senior colleague of hers, Dr. Lao Shebikon, and he explained further, this is what is happening to you. You have to be on steroids. I said, I'm already on steroids. How many milligrams are you taking? Then I told you the dermatologist was underdosing me. So I was taking,
it was not her
it wasn't as a specialty. So I was having the lower dose of what I should be having. So he now said, oh, you are being underdosed. So your body is fighting back, being underdosed again. So when I started taking the right proportion of everything, he told me you have a reversal period of 6 to 9 months, and you will see a difference. And sincerely, that was medical. So I always question people that bring any diabolic thing. That, can you identify?
Medicine actually,
Yes, this is a year treatment, and I'm fine. I can tell it to anyone. Just that lupus at its own everyday pain that you need to manage. But me being able to breathe well, eat again, move around, smile again, because it is depressive, and actually keep the world going again. Treatment works for it.
Now, you already have children. How are you going to be sure that you're not passing this to any of them, or they don't have it? Is there any way to diagnose and get to know whether this child has it so that we can start managing that child?
Yeah, actually with constant discussion with doctors, the only thing you look out for is symptoms. If they are symptomatic, then you need to, for now, none of them is. But as said, it could be associated with different triggers. And even one of it is elderly living.
Is what?
Elderly living.
Okay.
You understand? Things we take in, and we actually watch that too. And also ensure when they have complaints, we don't restrict just seeing the doctors. Like just see the medical doctor.
Now, I'm going to ask you, I'm not a doctor or am I in the medical field, but we read a lot of articles and they tell you lifestyle modification, eat fruits and vegetables and drink a lot of water and all of that. Have you tried all of that? Have you, bothered to make such research and see how far they can help?
Exactly. Even the doctors will always tell us to reduce a lot of inflammatory foods. So if you want to do that, you need to go healthy. Mainly you go organic. It's
all
quite
right,
expensive.
doctor, let me ask, is there anything apart from this, make drugs and all of that is given to them? Which other way do you think someone in this condition would be managed to be able to live, because it took time for her to know what was the problem with her. Is there any way or any means of managing better this condition, apart from medicine or drugs?
Delay in diagnosis is always a problem here because of you have few people who are specialized in that area, and then the test to diagnose it is not carried out in Nigeria. It has to be taken abroad. So that is why we have delayed diagnosis.
So they took your test abroad to be able to diagnose it?
Taken to Germany or Turkey.
Germany or Turkey.
Turkey.
But at the critical point I had to do was.
So what rheumatologists were being trained to do is to do our best to diagnose them with basic tests, and then symptoms and clinical examination, so that they are treated as soon as possible to save their organs and of course to save their life. So that, because it will take about 2 weeks for us to get a response from abroad. So we are being our clinical skills are being sharpened, so that as soon as we see the patient, you give us a history, we examine you, we do basic tests that we can easily do at a nearby lab. We know what's wrong with you and we start treatment immediately. And 99% of the time, by the time the results are coming from Germany, that is accurate, and patient has far well recovered before then. Now back to your question, you said that apart from medications, what other thing can they do? Lupus is a psychological illness. A lot of our patients are depressed. First and foremost, you spend a whole lot of time before you are diagnosed. By the time you are diagnosed, you are broke and you have been emotionally abused by all manner of unsolicited counsel on how to handle the illness. So they need a lot of emotional support from family. Some of them have even been stigmatized as problematic children or spouses, wives, as the case may be. Are you the only one? You're always sick, you're always sick, you're always sick. So emotional support is key for our patients. Number two, patient education. You have to know what is wrong with you and you have to accept your illness. A lot of patients are in denial. They can't believe that for the rest of their life they'll be taking drugs or they'll be sickly. Because the major complaint of our patients is pain, fatigue. I'm always tired. I do a little job, I'm tired. I walk from here to here, I'm tired. Because those antibodies are attacking your body tissues, so you are bound to feel tired. You don't have stress resistance. So emotional support, patient education, and they need what we call graded exercises. We encourage them to exercise based on what they can tolerate.
Okay.
We don't expect you to go and carry a lift or weights like a boxer or start punching balls. No. If it's to take walks, if it's to skip 50 skips a day, as much as you can tolerate. And of course, their meals. Avoid anti-inflammatory meals. Drink lots of water. We have a lot of junk right now. Fast foods. Those things are known to be inflammatory. High calorie diets, sweeteners, sugars. So what we just cancel then is more of the vegetarian diet, like the vegetables, protein, low carb diet, of course lots of water. We encourage them to avoid sweetened drinks, juices, Coke, Fanta. If you must take drinks, just go juice it. So those are
anyway, I do not even think one of those things you mentioned, is said to be good to anybody, whether you have lupus or you are not. So, I mean, water, vegetables and fruits. Thank you so much, Dr. Onose. It's good to have you here. You've really been. And for someone like you that has helped humanity, I will say thank you and God bless you,
Thank you so much
for this, this rare area of study. I should be, when we see people like you, should carry you like this because you are like egg. You're rare. Thank you so much, Dr. Onese. And you, ma'am, may God support you. I pray you have proper and complete healing. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Now, our discussion has been on lupus, and my guests, Dr. Onose, and of course the survivor, Mrs. Fuazat. I believe so much information has been passed across to you. That's all for today on Facts, Face, and Forum. It's been, a whole boost of enlightenment on set today, talking about areas of medicine that is rare and uncommon. Today you know about it. So one thing that I take away and I like to push back to you is that aspect of being compassionate to people who may have this medical condition. I mean, they have a right, yeah, they are sick. It's not their fault. Something happens and they're in and out of the hospital. But like the example she gave to us, Dr. Onose, the moment they are there, their impact should be felt. I mean, you should be able to say, okay, within this working hour, I'll give to you. You come and do the best you can. They have a right to survive. Of course, you know that so much finances or so much funds go into looking after people like that. So if you throw them out of jobs because of it, how are they going to survive? Be compassionate. And for our doctors out there, today I know that you people are very, very special. Not that I don't know, but you people are very special. And I don't know what is going to happen, what can be done to increase the number of doctors in this field, especially pediatric rheumatologists. We hear is only one in the whole Nigeria, and that's not good enough. That's not good at all. I pray something happens fast. Thank you so much for being part of today's edition of Facts, Face, and Forum. I'll see you again next week. Bye for now. And my name is still Peace Isaac Yeroku.